What's up guys, Infinite Loop here. I have a Protoss versus Zerg for you on Delta Quadrant, I believe this map is. I've got the red Protoss Yui at the 6 o'clock position, and the blue Zerg Caal at around the 8:30 position. Now, I do apologize for the graphics. I know they're kind of not the best. Believe it or not, these are actually high graphics with low shaders, so as you can see, shaders definitely play a big role on the graphics, but I'm not exactly commentating on a beast of a computer. Whether you believe it or not, it's actually a Dell E310. That's right, E310. Look it up. It's 5 years old. My computer is 5 years old, and it does work. I'm not gonna lie to you. It does work for a 5-year-old computer running off Windows XP. Cost me $299 on eBay. So I mean, what can I say? What do I expect when I spend $300 on a computer? Have upgraded a bit, so I mean, it runs StarCraft fine as long as I'm not, running on ultra graphics or anything. So right off the bat, Caal's sending his overlord across the map to the nearest possible enemy location. Always you want to do that as a Zerg. Generally, you want to send a drone up to the upper position too, since sending an overlord there would take way too long. Now, interesting thing here, you see how Caal, rather than doing that thing where, you send the overlord, you see the guys there, boom, you run right back, just so he doesn't know that your location is over here. He doesn't really care when it's Protoss, because he knows, unless he's playing as random, he knows the Protoss is going to be scouting early. You always want to scout early against Zerg, because their early pushes are the most dangerous of all the three races. So he doesn't mind if the Protoss knows that his location is over here. I mean, you look at Yui's scout path, the only thing he didn't scout was the top here, because that's probably when the Overlord came down. It's like, alright, screw it, I don't have to waste my time scouting the top position. Not to mention, say the Zerg is playing a Terran. The Terran will have a Marine out pretty early, and Marines can shoot air. Whereas for Protoss, you usually get the Zealot early as opposed to the Stalker. So, smart little play there with that Overlord, sending it back to avoid any harm. That scout didn't do that much. But, let's see what these players are doing. Pretty normal spawning pool. Oh, little hint for Zerg. I believe Yui already scouted Caal's base, but a good habit is to put your spawning pool right around here. Just because if you're maybe, I don't know, silver, gold, bronze, maybe even platinum, people get pretty lazy with their scouts. They might be like, alright, just come up here, check over here, see if he has any gas, run back. But if you went for like a really early spawning pool and you're trying to get a rush in, and you hide it back here, sometimes he'll just be like, oh, no spawning pool yet, I should be fine. And then he runs back. Whereas you really do have one just hiding behind the mineral line. Even if the scout comes around here through the mineral line, sometimes these block off his point of view and he actually can't see it back here. So you see he's vouching for the Roach Warren. Not a bad idea against Protoss. They work pretty well against the Zealots, not too well against Stalkers, because Stalkers actually move a little faster, and of course have a longer range than do Roaches. Sending the Overlord back, seeing if he has the double gas up or not, so we know Stalkers are probably going to be coming out. Sure enough, Cybernetics Core researching the warp gate, probably getting Stalker. Sure enough, getting another gateway up. Standard play. Roach is coming out right now, pumping those drones out really hard. Pretty standard stuff right now. See, this is an interesting little thing, putting the pylon back here. Obviously, you've got the fog. You rarely see this if it's a PvZ. You usually don't see this put here because it's not like Zerg can make drops into the back of your base. I guess they could have a Nidus Worm, but I mean, you're more likely to see drops versus Terran than you are Nidus Worm from Zerg. So you usually see this when your opponent's Terran, because the drops back here are so deadly. I mean, say you have all these buildings back here and you neglect this gas, this fog or whatever, come in with a few medevacs, drop right here. I mean, you're not going to see it coming. I mean, say you have your expansion up and you've got all your units back here, you can pretty much wipe out your Nexus, take out all your probes, and you wouldn't know what would have hit you. So, Warp Gate research almost done, still getting the Stalkers out. Looks like Caal is getting ready for a little attack. Yui doesn't have much to defend against this, but you don't need to have much if you've got a nice little choke over here, just because these Stalkers are going to be able to hit while these Zealots take the brute force of the damage. Yui should probably move these Zealots up. There he goes. A lot of Roaches coming in to reinforce, so I'm not sure if these Stalkers are going to be able to hold it off. Of course, 2 Zealots come in right when I say that. The Stalker barely making it out alive. He's got to pull these Stalkers back in. Zealots, of course, taking the brute force of the damage. 5 Roaches versus 3 Zealots, especially 1 weak. Probably not going to be able to hold that off. He's got to shoot, run back, just as if they were Reapers. Boosting out more units. Putting the Chrono Boost on the Warp Gate. Making sure you can get units as fast as possible. Ooh, bad unit control, no, don't run back there. You usually just want to keep kiting while you get your reinforcements in, just to keep them preoccupied. These Stalkers should be able to keep these Roaches at bay, though. No damage to the probe line, so not badly done. Could have saved that Stalker, but whatever. It's 1 Stalker. Good bit of action at the beginning of the game. Caal pumping drones even more. Got the, wouldn't really call it a fast expand, but got the expansion up. Spitting larva into that, or whatever it's called. Yui, any text coming? Blink. Smart, very smart to get the blink out, just because obviously you could just hand micro, I mean select all your Stalkers, send them back here, have them shoot, send them back here, but you're not going to get that perfectly against Roaches every single time, so the blink definitely helps. Not to mention you can do harass, where you put the Stalkers down here, boom, blink up, run over here, shoot at some drones, run back here, blink down, just because the blink cooldown is so quick. I think it's 10 seconds, my bad, 10 seconds. Surprised no one has taken this watchtower. Very, very crucial on this map when you're this close in position. Lair coming up for the Zerg, and yeah, you're not going to be able to do much. Ooh, look at what I neglected. A little proxy pylon up here for Yui. Going to be able to send in reinforcements really easily. Very smart move right there. With the sentry possibly going to put up a Guardian Shield. Sorry, I'm a little sick. But Yui, decent control. He wants to move the Zealots up. That way they can take the damage while the Stalkers do the long-range damage. Take the damage, sorry. And Caal doing a good job of weakening these Zealots. Queen helping out too. Still pumping out drones. Got some larvae sitting around. Meanwhile, in Yui's base, not much going on. Kind of neglecting his own base while he's doing this. See, this is a really important thing. It is so easy in StarCraft to get preoccupied, you know? You send in your units, you're like, alright, let's do this, let's beat these Roaches, and then you totally forget about your base. And then you come back to your base, and you're like, 1,000, what the? And then, next thing you know, he's counterattacking. You've got 1,000 minerals, but everything's still producing. And right as I say that, what do you know? He's going for the counterattack. But yeah, he probably realized he had to get some shit running in his base. Putting up a Dark Shrine, not a bad idea. Not so much that it's great against Roaches as it is, it's something Caal would not expect. But, ooh, good move here. Not sure why he's calling back these Roaches. Let's see. What I thought he was going to do was preoccupy the Stalkers with this, send in these Roaches to take out his base, because, I don't know, he's got nothing to deal with this. So, sending back these Roaches. He probably thinks the army is a lot smaller than it actually is, but he's still doing good control. Good blink, good blink. You want to get on the high ground right now. Don't want to have these Stalkers hanging on the ramp. Now, one thing I'm not sure of is why Caal continues to keep making Roaches. Roaches are not going to work against Stalkers very well, just because, I mean, think about it. Stalkers, they've got the 2.95 speed, they've got 6 range. Roaches, they've got the 2.25 speed. Oh, he's on creep, that's why it's plus 0.67. But they've also got lower range, so you could say Stalkers counter Roaches, just because they move faster and they've got a longer range. Kind of like what you do if you're Terran and you do Reaper Harass. It's kind of like what you do against Zealots when you have Reapers. You just have the Reaper run in, shoot the Zealot, Zealot gets close, run back, shoot him again, shoot him again, shoot him again, etc., etc. Pretty similar with Stalkers versus Roaches. So Zerglings tend to be what you want to get against the Stalkers. You get a good surround, and then even then the Roaches become more useful because they can get closer, they can move in for the kill, they've got good damage, 16 damage. Oh, if you're a new player and you're not too sure about what counters what, boy, look at these minerals getting way up there. You're not too sure about what counters what, a really easy way, boom, go to the help menu, Protoss units, Sorry, Zerg units. What counters Roaches? Roach. Weak against Marauder, Ultralisk, Immortal. There you go. That's all it takes. It's got every single unit here. Just a little tidbit. I'm sure most of you already knew that, but just for those that didn't. Aiming at the Overlords, trying to get him supply blocked. Not going to work, because he's got a good supply of Overlords, but let's see, how are those DTs coming along? Where are DTs made? Yeah, they are made at the Warp Gate. So, warping in Dark Templars. Once those come in, I'm not sure what Caal's going to be able to do, because he's just bleeding units right now. You look at the army size. He has a bigger economy, which is why the supply is pretty even, but resource-wise, Yui's got this capped. Not capped, sorry. He's got the advantage. Trying to take out the hatchery. That's what he's been aiming at this whole time. That's why not too many roaches have been dying. But it does look like it's going to be taken down here. Now the economy shot is going to pull back all these drones. Resources are dwindling, sorry. Yui's doing a good job of controlling stalkers right now. If you're a Protoss and you're playing against roaches, this is what you want to do. Mass some stalkers, have good unit control, try to avoid standing on the creep, because on the creep roaches actually do move faster. Yeah, they do move faster they do move faster than stalkers. And does look like he got the move speed upgrade, so now it should be a little more even. Now, one thing where is the income? There we go. 30 harvesters versus 32 harvesters. Very surprised that Yui hasn't pulled ahead by now, just because he's been shooting a lot of drones, messing up his fast expand, not so fast expand, medium expand. But yeah, see, he's got like 1,300. You never want to be sitting on that much stuff. I mean, throw down your natural at least. He's running out of minerals in his base. Obviously, he has the advantage right now in the game, but what if it didn't work? What if he didn't have the advantage right now? What if these roaches somehow beat his stalkers? He'd have nothing to fall back on. If he had this expansion up and running and had, say, maybe 45 harvesters as opposed to 30, even if these stalkers didn't work, he'd have something to fall back on. He'd have a plan B, you could say. So Caal having to resort to the long-distance mining. Got the lair up. Still surprised he hasn't gotten Zerglings up. I mean, this is a diamond versus diamond game. Usually, you're pretty familiar with what counters what by the time you're diamonds, but a really bad habit to get into is to not adapt to what your opponent is doing. Pretty much, what you want to do when you're playing StarCraft is don't go in with a set strategy. Look at what your opponent is doing, and then build your strategy around that. See, alright, he's going mass stalkers, screw it, I'll go speedlings with some roaches. And that should be able to counter that. Don't be like, alright, I'm going into this game, massing roaches, that's it. Like, I don't care if he goes Void Rays against me, I'm getting roaches, because it's not going to work. These DTs just going to town, he's got nothing to detect these, no Overseer. Should be popping one up soon, though. But I don't see what Caal could be doing right now. I mean, he's long-distance mining his natural. These stalkers are starting to outnumber his roaches. Well played by Yui, but Caal he's got no way out of this. All these drones are falling. I mean, boom, there you go, Caal has left the game. Well played by Yui, save the lack of an expansion over here. But, entertaining game to watch, a lot of action, probably high APMs. at least for the Protoss, all that moving back and forth, blink over here, back and forth. So, fun game to watch, fun game to commentate, and if you guys would be so kind, I'd love if you left a comment telling me what you liked about the video, what you didn't like about the video, and I will see you soon.